Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good wherever you are. This is JP here with Websites for Beginners, and welcome to our first class, class number 1 on Learn How to Make Websites 101. This course is for total beginners. I expect you to know nothing. You've heard that you can make a website all by yourself, and you've never done it. This is for you. Number 2, you've heard you need coding. Biggest load of bull twang. You don't need any coding, never. You're going to create it as simple as you can create a slideshow presentation in Keynote or in PowerPoint. I'm going to show you how. It's very easy and you don't need any experience. And that's what makes this course different than many of the other tutorials we have. We are going to slowly build you up over the course as these classes roll out. You will digest them bit by bit, so we don't throw them all at the same time to you, so be patient, young one. We are going to be making websites for free, and I'm going to use a platform that is totally free. I'm going to try and talk not too much, but this is our introductory video, so let's stop there. First of all, I'm going to be using a browser called Blisk during these tutorials. You can look in the description below for a link to this browser. This browser is the same like Chrome. It runs on Chrome. It's called Chromium. So it's basically a ripoff or a brother or a sister of Chrome. What makes this browser different is that it allows me to display my website as if I'm viewing it on a tablet or a mobile device. And you will see as we go along why that is important. But I will show you how you can also do that in other websites. But when you see the website I'm using and you see the features I'm using, remember I'm using this browser called Blisk, and you can check the link in the description below. Let's begin, and for you to work and follow along, you need to have an account. And we are going to be using a platform called Brizy Cloud. Type in brizy.cloud, and this will take you to the website where you are going to sign up for a free account. I need to stress this, it's free. You can practice along for free. You don't have to invest in any kind of thing. Everything is online. You don't have to download any apps. This is the whole purpose, to keep it as simple as possible and convenient. You will see this is what my Blisk browser will do. It will open all these displays. So just to show you, if I click here on this one that is a Apple iPhone 5, it will display this site as if I am viewing it on a cell phone device. And then I also have the option here for Apple iPad. This gives me the idea of how my web page will look on these devices. But I'm not going to use them now. So up here, I'll just go and say enable browsing mode. And now it's like a regular browser. This is where you need to go, brizy.cloud. And then you go up here and account login. And you can have a look through this website. It will tell you more about the product, what this product can do, what it's great for, and the fact that you'll be making these good-looking websites in no time. Well, I just told you it will take some time, but at least I'm going to show you how to get there quicker, and stay there. If you don't use it, you lose it. Let's go back to the top, and we click here on account login. Here things get a little strange. You're like, okay, where am I now? Oh, okay, this looks like the software app. I can begin building my website. You'd be making a massive mistake. And if you were to start working in this current version, and you come back maybe on your laptop or you're working in another location, you're not going to find it. This is some kind of default project view that you can work in. Unfortunately, you are not logged in. You haven't even created an account, remember? Do you remember creating an account? I don't. So what you need to do is go up here to the top right-hand corner, click here where you see that, and here you will see currently you are just seen as a guest, right? And we don't want that. We want to create our free account. So you click here on sign up over here, and then we're going to do it here. And I'm going to sign up. I'm going to say JP, my last name, and I'll add my email at websitesforbeginners.com, and I'll add the password. create the account. And that's it. You'll see that little green check. Let me not save that so I can remember the password by myself. And to check then whether you have signed in or not, just make sure when you go up here, you will see your name appears as well as the email address that you had created the account with. Good. And this is what you are going to be using to create your websites. And this platform is so cool because it's so convenient and easy and intuitive to use that once you get used to it, you'll probably struggle when you want to use other platforms. But this is a great learning tool, and so far and so forth, you have not spent a cent except a lot of data if you're not on an uncapped plan. How these tutorials work is that I will tell you things when you need to know them. When they are not important, we're not going to focus on them. So as you look at this area here, you see a lot of things going on. If I don't think they are important, we don't focus on them. Gradually, we'll add more. And then as the course go on and the 101 progresses, by the time you get to 201, you will be a master and you will understand everything about this site. So it's important you remember Brizy.cloud. Link is also in the description below. First thing you need to do is go and sign up. We are here. We are logged in. Let's begin to work. And I want to create a website. That's what I want to do. I want to create a site. And to do that, you click here on this little plus where it says create new project. There are various kinds of projects you can create. We are only interested in a website. And in this tutorial, we're only going to look at one small part, and then we'll build on them as the tutorials roll out. Click on the plus. And Brizy Cloud gives you these options. Create new project. On the left, it says website and landing page. And on the right, it says pop-up and alert. You know what's a website, right? But what is a landing page? What's a pop-up and what's an alert? Well, we don't care. We're going to create a website. So the clue is this one here on the left. Click on create. And it's going to create now this project for you. So you see this block moved here to the right. And now we have it here on the left. And it's called project number 1 because it's your first project, which is a website. Let's give this project a name. And to do that, you just take your cursor and highlight the text, and then you type in a name for this project. I'm going to type in here class 1, and that is the name I want to give this website. This website is going to be class 1 website. And there you go. But, well, how does it look? Now, to see how this website of yours look, you click here on this one, this little icon with the arrow to the right. And as you click on it, it opens a new tab in your browser. And then it will tell you this page is not yet created. Please start designing your page by clicking the button below. And you can say yes, start creating. But we can close this. We know we haven't done anything, so we are not surprised that we saw that warning there. But we want to begin doing something. What we need to create a page is called a builder. Like a person building a house, we are building a site, and you've heard that word, to build a website. And the tool that we use for creating that is called a website builder or a page builder. Now in Brizy, we are currently in the dashboard. Dashboard is where everything is arranged. Here you see your projects, so this is our dashboard. And now we need to go into the builder. To do that, hover over your project and click here on Edit Project. That is going to take us now into the Brizy Builder, where we can begin to build out our page. You are greeted with this more or less empty screen, and this entire area that you see here is a page. So start to think the difference between a website and a web page. If I go back here and at the top and I go again to that Brizy site, Brizy.cloud, you will see that we have these links that will take us to other pages. This page combined with these pages gives us a website. So the website is your entire collection of pages, and then this entire area from the top to the bottom is a web page. page. So the two, a little different. A website comprises web pages. And that's how you have to think when you are designing a new website, that you have to build it out page by page by page. So let's click this tab and we go back into our Brizy Builder. We have here in front of us absolutely nothing. We already viewed it on the front end and it showed us there is nothing. We have to start building it. And there is a massive clue in the middle. Start building your page, and this plus button just invites you to click on it. So let's click on it, and it's going to open this box here, or this pop-up. And inside here, you see a lot of stuff going around. You can scroll a little bit, and immediately you get the idea that these are pre-designed layouts, pre-designed sections, blocks that you can use in your site. You can also see that these that do not have that little pink logo, they are the ones you can use for free. And then there are pro versions over here for which you have to purchase a premium license. But from the beginning, this course is about teaching you the right stuff from the beginning. So we're not going to take the shortcuts. We're going to take the long road. Little Red Riding Hood would be so disappointed, but that's what we are going to be doing. So for that, we are going to click here on this one. Add a blank block. And this thing is going to allow you to create things like these. And we call them blocks. So you can see here at the top the name blocks. We click here on add a blank block. And as I click on it, you're going to see my page changes. Do you remember how it looked before? To undo any action you've done in Brizy Cloud, you can use this feature down here. You see there's a little toolbar here in the bottom right-hand corner. This one here, second from the left, says undo. And the shortcut key for that on your keyboard is Control-Z, or if you're on a Mac, that is Command-Z. And you will hear me use shortcut keys all the way through these tutorials. It's important you get it under your belt. If you're not a big shortcut user, then you have to at least understand when I say Control-Z or Command-Z, you know that is undo, respectively, on Windows and a Mac. The reason I want to undo is I just want to show you how this page looked before we brought in that block. Click here at the bottom on undo or Control-Z, Command-Z, and we are back in the default state where this page was still completely empty. So that white thing that we had brought in there at the very top is a block. Let's do it again. Start building your page. Click here on a blank block, and then you can see this shape here. This is what is called a block. And you can see there's a little dotted line there with a little plus in there. What we will do now is let's bring in some text. I want to make this a heading, and for that we will need to bring in content. In web page building, that content comes in a small little container we call an element. Just go here and click on this plus, and as I click on it, on the left, you will see this drawer opens. Think of a drawer, you know, if you open a closet and you have a drawer with socks in it, you pull the drawer out. Same thing that happens here. As I clicked on the plus, this drawer slid out. And inside here, we have these little guides that are called elements. And they are the building content blocks for your site. And the first one you can see over there is text. And the text, of course, you're going to use for paragraphs. You're going to use it for headings. Whenever you're going to use text, you're going to use this element to bring in your text. To bring an element onto a page, you need to click and drag it and then let go. And now you've dropped in a text element. But what do you see here? You actually see some text. It says no matter if you've used a visual page builder before, with Brizy you'll be a pro the second you start using it. Not yet, not yet. That little box you see around the text shows you this is your text element. It's a container for your text element. We want to change that. We want to bring in our own text and we want to make some changes to it. Just like you would in PowerPoint or Word, same thing here. To access that text, you simply take your cursor and click on it. And as you click on it, you'll see this toolbar with all the settings appear over here. If you want to change the text, you highlight it. You can click and drag like this. Or what I like to do is I triple click, 1, 2, 3. Triple click always selects an entire paragraph. And I'm going to call this a big title. Check the toolbar here where you see the T and it says typography. Typography is a very big word, which means font. How does it look? And you know the word font. If I click on typography, you're going to see a few options appear over here. On the left, I have the option to change the font family of this one. Currently, you can see it's set to Overpass. Click on Noto Serif to see how it changes. Montserrat, Lato, Red Hat Text, and there's a number of other fonts here as well. I'll scroll down and you see this one, Play Fair Display. Let's select this one. Let's increase the size, and the size, here you're going to do that, same like you would do in any editor. And you can also double click in there to select it and then type in the size that you want. I'm going to type in 120. This 120 is a value called pixel, and pixel is what we used when we are working with displays like monitors. That is just a size that you will have to get used to and learn what looks good and what doesn't look good. In this case, I put it on 120 and it gives me my big title, or in this case, a big title. Let's leave it for now, and then we go to the next one, which is colors. And if I click on that, it opens the color box for me. I want to change the color of the text, so I simply click anywhere here to make a selection. I can drag this slider here from one color to the next. Or I can use any of these predetermined colors down here. Wherever you see a small little square with a color in, we refer to that as a swatch. Swatch is a piece of color or a piece of fabric. And these are preset colors, color swatches that you can select. If I click on the 1 second from the left, it will change it to that color, and you will see also how that selector here jumps to where that color is. As I click on these guys through them, you'll see how that selector jumps around, as well as how my hue slider here on the right jumps to the different hues. Let's put it on this one, and now we have the color for the title that we want. Next, I want to align this text to the middle, to the center. And that is also something that you are very comfortable with, something that you have done in Word. You can see here, the third one from the left. This is called alignment. I click on it currently. Before I click on it, currently it's aligned to the left. If I click on it, it center aligns it. Click on it again to the right. If I click on it a fourth time, it's going to give me what we call justification. You will see the lines here stretch all the way from the left to the right. This is used for paragraphs, but something I highly recommend you do not do when you are building a website. So you will see we'll never use this. Click on it again and you see the little lines change. Now it's left align again, but we want it in the center. And there we go. Take the cursor, click here to deselect everything, and let's see what we've got there. This thing that we had brought in at the beginning is a block. Then we had brought in a text element. We click there, or you can also click up here in the top left corner where it says Add Elements. Click. We had gotten the text element over here. We clicked and held on it, we dragged it over, and we dropped it. To select the text, we simply click on it, and it brings up the toolbar. And from here, we had made some settings. We had changed the font to Play Fair Display, and we had changed the size to 120 pixels. Then we went to colors and we changed the color to this swatch, second from the left. And then we had aligned it over here to the center. And we have built out this block. Currently, we are viewing it in the back end. This is where you do all the work. This is the part that only you can see. Somebody who comes to your site does not want to see this one here, add a new block, right? They only want to see the web page. They don't want to see this toolbar here in the bottom right corner. They don't want to see add elements. So for you to make sure that it looks good, you have to go and view it on the front end. Front end is what we see when we go to a website. To do that, the first thing you have to do is save this page. And the second thing you have to do is view it on the front end. To save a page that you are working on, you go to this toolbar in the bottom right-hand corner. The first time you create a page, it's going to say publish. And this is another word for save. If you click on publish, this page is now live. After I've saved it, you will see now it changes to update. From now on, this word will be update. And update is just save again. So make sure that you save your work, because if you don't save it, power goes off, it's boom, boom, bye. To view this page on the front end, there's luckily for us a shortcut key just here. You can see as I hover over it again, similar to the one that we had seen in the dashboard, it says preview. When I click on this, it will open a new tab in my browser and it will show me how this will look when the visitor comes to my site. So let's click on preview. And there we go. So you can see this is my site currently. You and I both know this is all we've done. So that is all that appears on my site. There's a big title and there's a block. Currently, we cannot see the line here of the block because the background is white and this part is also white. Let's go back into the back end. Before that, I will close this one here, close this tab, and we are back in the back end. Here, let's look at a few words that you need to get familiar with. Let's have a quick look at what we've got here. So I'm going to rework this a little bit for us. We have this block. We have this text element inside it. The first important word that you have to remember here is a block. A block is a container. It contains all the content that you want to put inside it. And we use these blocks to build out our website. It is the root of our web page, the block. But a block is by itself just an empty container. Think of a food container. You still need to put food in there, right? Otherwise, it's just a container. That's the same thing. Our block needs content, and for that, we bring in elements. We drag them in, and then we can bring in a content element like text. So you can see this is what we did. We had a big title, and then we brought it in, and you can see those little dotted lines on the sides. This is the content within the block. But now I want to bring in another very important part. And that is the space between this content and the block. This is called padding. The empty space between the block and the content on your page. Padding is a very common and important concept that you have to master today. I'm lying a little bit. You're still going to learn a lot about padding. I still do. And it is something that you have to be aware of, because most of the time when you are building out a blog and a web page, you're going to use padding a lot. Padding adds space, and that space is very important to make your site look good. So let's just go through these three parts again. The first part we did when we created the site is we brought in the block, which is a container for all your content. We use those elements to bring in content. In this case, we used a text element and we changed the font, we changed the size and the color, and we changed even the text. We called it a big title. And then the part that is now important for you to remember is the padding, the space between the content and the border of the block, that empty space. Let's jump back to the back end and see why padding is so important. Take your cursor, and you may have noticed this, and go to the top here and hover here at the top of the block. And you will see as I hover, this blue bar appears. And in the middle, it says 75px, and px is short for pixels. That means from the content, which is this text element, all the way to the block top border, there are 75 pixels applied of space, empty space. If you take your cursor and you go to the bottom, you'll see the same. 75 pixels at the bottom and 75 pixels at the top. Now your element, which is your text element, is over here. So the border, these little dots, this is the border for your content. So this padding belongs to your block. This is the space between the block border and the content border. And we can increase this. We can reduce it also, but we can increase it. And to do that in Brizy, go here and click and hold and drag. And as I drag, you see the pixels increase and also the empty space increases at the top. Let's put it on something like 150, and yeah, I get it at 150. Sometimes you're going to struggle. It's going to be 149 to 151. And actually, true as Bob, it doesn't matter. But for somebody like me, I always wanted to have at a very nice rounded number. You can do the same with the bottom one. Let go of the cursor, come down to the bottom. When you see that blue bar appear from the left to the right, click and drag, click, hold and drag. And I drag down and I add it all the way 150 pixels. Now we have increased the padding of the block. If you go back to your content, you will see it's still the same container. Nothing has changed here. But what has changed is the padding of the block, this container here. That is very important to remember. Let's reduce it. Let's see how far we can reduce it. Click and drag all the way to the top. And it goes all the way to 15 pixels. After that, it stops. Drop it there. Let's do the same for the bottom. Just get that, 15 pixels. And then we go to the bottom, click and drag. Oops. There we go. Now we barely have padding. The space between the text element and the border of the block is just 15 pixels. That is very, very tiny. Let's leave it there. Next, we want to give our block a background. And we can do that with a color or an image. Let me show you how we do that. To make any changes to the block, we have to go to the block settings. And the block settings you can access with this little icon that appears up here in the top right-hand corner, that icon that looks like the two sliders. Click on that and it will extend the toolbar with all the settings for the block that appear here. We want to change the background color. So currently it's set to white. And to do that, you go to this icon third from the left. And when you hover over it, you will see it says colors. Click on it and you are greeted with something very similar to what you saw when we were changing the color of the text. Same layout, you have the color picker over here. And look, as I click or drag this, it changes the background color. And then you have the use slider here, with which you can also change the color. And you can also select from the color swatches down here, which color you want to use. If I put this here on green, now I have a green background, I can go and change the color of the text. Click on the text to interact with it. Select colors. Let's put it on this one, which is white. Click outside to deselect everything. Access the settings again of the block. Click up here on the slider icons. Go to the colors. And let's put it on another color. Maybe this one. And you can play around with the various colors. But I think what we are really interested in, can I use an image for the background? And you should know, of course you can, because you've seen it on websites. How do we do that? The first thing I will do is, let's put it back on white, and then our text disappears because our text is also white. Let's click here where we know our text is, click on it to interact with it, go to colors, and put it back on this color. Now we want to change the background into an image. That's also done in the block settings. Go to the settings of the block, click, go all the way to the left, and second from the left, you will see the background. This is where we will bring in the image that we want to apply to the background. Click on background, and here you'll see it says image and a little cloud with an upload button. If I click on this, watch what happens. It opens my Explorer on my Windows PC. If you're on Mac, it's going to open your Finder. From here, you have to select an image. We don't have an image yet, so let's go and get an image, and I show you how to work a little bit with images in this Class 1 tutorial. Close here for now, leave that, and go to your browser and open a new tab. And we will go to freepik.com. Now, freepik.com has premium pics as well as free pics. And if you use any of their free pictures, you have to give them credit for that. We're just going to use it for this tutorial, and we will use a free one so you can also access it. What I'm going to look for is coffee, and I'll type in your coffee flat. I'm looking for a flat image display, flat design, and then I click here on search. And because I'm not logged in, I do have a pro account. It's going to give me a little bit here of a teaser, which I don't want, so I'll close that. And then I go back into Freepik. And here we are within Freepik with all these images that they give us. And we can cycle through them and see which one we want to use. So let's select this one here with the coffee. I think this one is fine. And I'm going to click on this, and then we have to download this image. Click on download, and it's going to ask you premium download. This is a free image. If it was premium, it would have said premium or free download. And only thing you have to remember, if you use the free download, you must attribute the author. But I'm going to click on that, and the author here is Freepik. Freepik, all my attribution to you, with almost 1 million resources by this author alone. And you will see here in the bottom left corner that this is downloading, and it's pretty big image, 11.4 megabytes. Now, megabytes and bytes, very, very important when we are designing websites. We don't like big images in our websites, and we don't like them because they slow down our site. So what we try to do is we try to get that image as small as possible with the best quality we can for it to look good on our site. This can be a tricky process, but I'll show you step by step again how you can achieve that. This is currently in a zip file, so I'll click on it to open it. And then here you will see it is this one. So I'm going to click and drag it up here to my downloads. So it's in my downloads folder. Click to downloads, and over here is the image. As I hover over it, you will see it's 11.8 megabytes. That's way too big. The second thing I want you to notice, just above size, it says dimensions, 6,000 by 4,000. That is pixels. That is way too big for what we need for our site. For sites, we need it much smaller. But I'm going to use an editor now, which is also free, which you can also use, and show you how easy it is to do it in that editor. Go to your browser again and click here and type in pixlr.com, pixlr.com. I have no idea how to pronounce it. I guess it's pixlr.com. This is a free photo editor. It's really geared towards to make your images look good, especially if you are displaying it on web pages. We're going to use this one, Advanced Pixlr E. Click on that. It will open this new screen and says you don't have any images here, so you click here on Open Image on the left. Again, it will open your Explorer or your Finder for you, and then I'm going to select this image that I've downloaded and click on Open. You do remember, and you can see up here it also says, the image you selected is very large, 6,000 by 4,000. And if you have no idea what that means, just trust these guys. They know what they're talking about. And I've already told you 6,000 by 4,000, way too big. And this is what I love about Pixlr or Pixlr, is that you can come and use these presets before the time. So they say to you, are you sure you want to use it in this image size? You can choose 3 options. You can choose Ultra HD, Full HD, or Web. Now you will be tempted to go for the Web, but I'll go for Full HD. I just like that little bit of extra size. What's going to happen is that 6,000 now is going to be 1,920. You can see it here in the bottom, and the 4,000 will become 1,280 pixels. So it reduces it. All you need to do is click here on Apply. I selected Full HD and applied, and now that image has been resized. I can work now with the image, but I don't want to. I just want this image to be the right size. So I've resized it, but now I need to save it because currently in my Explorer, it's still this one at 6,000 by 4,000. I'll go up here to File, click on Save, and then it will ask me to give it a file name. I will call this Coffee Picture, and then I will select JPEG. If it is a photo, you always go for JPG. Then you have an option to select the quality. And this is going to determine how good, how clear, how sharp this image will display on your site. You may be tempted to go for high quality, which is what, 90%, but you'd be mistaken. This will give you 645 kilobytes for this image. And guess what? That is still too big. We've gone from 11.8 megabytes down to 640 kilobytes, and I'm telling you, it's still too big. Trust me, it's still too big. If your page has 1 or 2 images of this size, that's okay. You'll get away with that. But if you have a very image-intensive web page with 10, 20 images and they're all this size, you're going to struggle. When people come to your site and they open that page, it's going to take longer to load because those images are bigger, so it takes a little bit longer. And it can also slow down your site in general. You can go to low, and you see with low, it drops down to 231 kilobyte. I'll select medium, which is still 330 kilobytes, but I think that's fine. And then I'll leave the rest. So I change the name, I put it on JPEG, and I put the quality on medium, and I click on download. Again, you see it downloads down here in the bottom left. And if I go to my Explorer, you will see it also appears there now. Oh, that's a long process, but that's how we work with images. There's still a lot to learn about images, but enough for now. I'll minimize this. I'm done with Pixlr, and then I'll close this tab. I've downloaded my photo from freepik.com. Thank you guys. I'll close this one, and I'm back in Brizy, and now I can bring in that image for my background. Finally. Do you remember how we got here? If you forgot, click here and I'll show you again. Go to your block, hover over it until you see this icon appear where the settings for the block are. Click on that and go second from the left. And this is where you can change the background. Image, click on the upload, and now you're going to choose coffee pictures. Click on that, click on open, and it uploads to the Brizy Cloud. What's going on here? I see the picture there, but what I see here, maybe faintly, I can see those coffee beans. This is an overlay, a very popular feature when making websites. We don't want to use the overlay in this case. And the overlay is a color. So do you remember where we had changed the background color? Settings? Over here, right? Go to colors. How do I get rid of this overlay? And it doesn't matter what I choose here, there's an overlay applied. And I don't want that overlay. To get rid of the overlay, you have to make it transparent. So you take away all of the color. And we refer to something that is of color opaque, and we call it opacity. And that is what this second slider on the right is all about. It's called the opacity slider. When this slider, you see there's the little handle. If I drag it all the way to the top, it's going to 100%. And now you cannot even see the image in the back because this color is 100% opaque. It's solid, it's full color. If I grab the slider, I drag it all the way to the bottom, you will see it's 0% opaque, which means it's fully transparent. Now I can see the entire image in the back. This is very nice if you want to apply a little bit of an overlay or color. Let's choose this pink here, and you can see just slightly how the color changes. Let's change the green. That doesn't look actually bad if you want that kind of moody feeling. So you just apply the swatch and you reduce the opacity to a level that's still manageable. But in this case, we want no overlay. So it doesn't matter which swatch you choose here. You just reduce it all the way until you get to 0. Click outside, and there is your background image with your text. What's wrong though is we can barely see our text. So we have to go and change again the color of the text, just like we did earlier. To select the text, click on it, go to the color here, and let's put it on white. Click outside, and there is our title with the background image in the first block we had created. Let's save the work. Go to the bottom right-hand corner, click on Update, or on your keyboard, you can use the shortcut key Control S, Command S on the Mac, which I'm going to do, Control S. And then let's go and preview it. Click here on the preview button. It opens a second tab for us in the browser, and it loads it as if people who are coming to our site will see it. Do you like it? Yeah, we've done a good job, but it's not impressive at all. We want this image to be bigger. We want the title to stay like that, but we would like this image to display much bigger area on our screen. And now comes the question. I have shown you earlier how to do that. How can I add more space to this image to make it larger? And that was padding. Do you remember padding? Padding is the space between the block up here and the content. So what we need to do is we need to increase the padding at the top and the bottom to enlarge how big this block will display on the front end. Let's go to the back end. I click on this tab, and then you hover with your cursor again here at the top until you see that blue bar with the 15 pixels appear. We had reduced it to 15 pixels. Now click and hold and drag, and I'll put it on 150 pixels again. And we go to the bottom until you see the blue bar. Click and hold and drag. Give it 150 pixels. There. This looks better, right? Let's save it. Control Command S. And then you can go to the second tab and then just click here on reload or refresh the page. That looks much bigger. And if you want it bigger, let's go back. Let's put it on 200, 250. Can I do that? Let's see, 250 there. And at the bottom, 250 there. Update. Go to the second tab and refresh it. Wow, look at that. Now it starts to look impressive. So if you're making a coffee site for somebody, you can go and change the title. Go to the back end, click in the text to activate it, and to select everything you can click and drag. You can also use the shortcut Control A or Command A, or the one I like to do is triple click 1, 2, 3. And then I'll call it Elise's Coffee Shop. Splendid, right? Let's update that. Go view it on the front end. And now we have this heading image area ready for Elise's Coffee Shop. This is very common, right? You've seen this on many websites. This big image at the top with just a heading in there. This is called a hero banner, a hero section, a hero block. It's kind of like the hero part of your page. Ta-da! That kind of feeling. Very, very common. We call it a hero banner section, or in this case, a hero block. At this point, many people make the massive mistake of thinking that they are done with the design of this block. And there are two important things that they forget. The first one is a tablet, and the second one is a mobile. You see, when it comes to these two devices, their screen resolution, the size of their screen, is different to that of a desktop. If you are sitting at home on a laptop or on your desktop computer, you have a larger screen. But these devices not only have smaller screens, the layout is different. A mobile device is in portrait mode, and your desktop is usually in landscape mode. 5 years ago, we barely cared about it. We just designed so that it can look good on a computer. But today, that is impossible. And the big reason is that more than 50% of people access the internet nowadays on a mobile device, which means half of your customers actually look at your site on a mobile device. This is why I'm using this browser called Blisk, because Blisk allows me to see how this will display on a tablet and how it will display on a mobile. I'll go up here to this setting and I'll say Enable Developer Mode, which will give me my little phones and my tablets again here on the left, from which I can see and select the different displays. I have selected a few as favorites. So I have iPhone X here and Samsung Galaxy, and then I have Apple iPad. Apple iPad, and it renders a display for me on a tablet. Do you see the difference here? It cuts this line into two, and you have shop here at the bottom, and it doesn't look as good. It doesn't have the same impact like it did on the desktop. Samsung Galaxy. Ooh, no. And if you didn't do this, you would have left your site like this. And if you sent the link to your friends, they would have replied, yeah, nice, very good job, Johnny. And you would have no idea why they aren't raving about your website. How am I going to fix this? So this is what has been happening in the last 5+ years with new web page builders, is that they bring in this feature called responsiveness. It responds from one device to the next, so we say it is responsive. Let's close this. Let's go to the back end, and I'll just deactivate this developer mode, go back to browsing mode. I need to go and look at this on a tablet, and I need to go and look at it on a mobile display. And in Brizy Cloud, you have that feature. You go to the sidebar, which is this area on the left, and here at the bottom, you see this little one, screen monitor. Hover over it, and it gives you mobile views. Click, and you can see currently it is set to desktop. You have tablet and mobile, those things that we just talked about. Click on tablet, and it takes us into the tablet view. Again, very similar to what we've seen before. Here we have a block. It's the same block, and the settings up here appear. And here is our text element. Click on it, and you see the toolbar, but do you see the difference? This toolbar has got 4 icons in it. Let's go to the desktop again. Go to the left, select desktop, click on the text, and you will see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 icons, various settings that you can change. But when I go to tablet, mobile view, tablet, click on it, I only have 4. Why? What Brizy allows you to do is to make changes that will only apply to the tablet. Those things that you can change will appear here. Those things that you cannot change will be taken away. They will be applied to both your desktop and your tablet as well as your mobile. So for example, here we can clearly see that our text is way too big for our tablet display. If I go here and I click on the T for typography, and my size is currently 120, I'll double click to select it, and let's reduce it to half of that, 60 pixels, and see how that looks. That looks better. But what happened now on my desktop? Is it also 60 pixels? Let's go back to the desktop. Mobile view, desktop, click on the text, typography, still 120, and that is responsiveness. From desktop to tablet, it changes. It's responsive. It changes for those devices. Let's go back to tablet because we can do more. So we are happy here now with our text title. But you can see again, this block, the top and the bottom, the padding, the space here is just a little bit too small. Currently it's at 50 pixels, and that is the default setting for how a block applies padding in tablet view. I want to override that, so I simply click and drag, and I'm going to put this at 150. I'm going to apply a smaller one here because it's tablet. Remember, on the desktop, we applied 250. Let's do the same for the bottom. Find the blue bar, click and hold and drag down until you get to 150 pixels. Over there. Good. Now it looks very similar to the one on the desktop. Let's go back to desktop. Desktop. Tablet. And you don't see the borders, but the lines here on the left and the right, those will be the edges of a tablet display. Finally, we also have to look at how this will look on a cell phone. You saw that didn't look very good at all. So we go again here to our mobile view and we select mobile. Now you know the procedure we'll go through. The first thing we will do is we will reduce the size of this text. So I click here, I go to T for typography. Let's put it at, well, 25%, which is what? 30, right? 30 pixels. Put it on 30. And yep, that looks good. If you want to make it a little bit bigger, you can just click here on the arrow to increase it. 34. It's a strange number, but it seems to be good there. And now the same thing. This is going to be way too tiny for a cell phone display. So what I'll do is I'll go to the top, and you see here it's only 25 pixels by default. Click, hold, and drag. And I'm going to also put this on 150. And what you have to remember now is you are working with a cell phone display that is vertical. It is portrait. You can apply much longer, like this. I'm going to put it on 250. Than you would for a tablet and a desktop. 250. Let's see if I can. There. Same for the bottom. Click, hold, and drag to 250. Down, down, down. There. Good. Do you see that? Think of it how it will look on a cell phone. Let's go back all the way to desktop. And let's save our work. Control S, Command S, or click Update here in the bottom right-hand corner. Let's go and preview and test it again. Click here on Preview, and it opens a new tab for us. And this one, we know it works. How about the tablet? How about the mobile display? Go here to our Blisk mode, and I'm going to enable our developer mode. I'll go over here. First, let's put it on Apple iPad. There's it looks good. And then Samsung Galaxy, it fits. And because we applied more space at the top and the bottom, it looks good on this display. And this way, we have created our first block with a background image and a text element, and we have ensured that it is responsive. This is what I urge you to do. Follow through with this video from the beginning to the end. We've just scratched the surface. There are many, many grooves that we still need to make. But I hope through this digest and this journal and all the classes that we will have here for this 101 training, you will begin to learn these concepts and why they are important and how they can help to shape out your site. This is JP at Websites for Beginners. Stay safe. See you around.